Chapter 1: The Discovery of the Diary. I wasn't even supposed to be upstairs. The whole point of house sitting for Aunt Clara was to keep things simple. Water the plants, feed her cat, and don't touch anything in the attic. But when the cat started growling at the ceiling on the second night, I knew I wasn't imagining things. Let me back up. Aunt Clara's farmhouse is one of those places that looks normal at a glance. But the longer you stay, the more off it feels. Like how the clocks all tick slightly out of sync, or how the mirrors don't quite reflect, right? I noticed that on the first night. She had mirrors in nearly every room, and in each one, I looked just a little too, I don't know, delayed. Like my reflection was thinking about moving before it actually did. It's just a trick of the light, I thought. Old houses are full of weird sounds and sights, right? Anyway, I stayed downstairs at first. I read a book, watched TV, tried to relax. But the second night, I woke up at 2:30 a.m. to creaking above me. Slow, deliberate footsteps right over my head. The attic? Was someone up there? Aunt Clara always said she didn't use it anymore, but I swear I heard someone walking back and forth.
I just heard something upstairs, but I'm alone.
I got out of bed, grabbed my phone, and tiptoed upstairs. There's a guest room at the end of the hallway. Old, with lace curtains and antique furniture that hadn't been moved in decades. As soon as I opened the door, I knew something was wrong. The air was heavy, thick with dust. Cold, even though it was the middle of summer. That's when I stepped on a loose floorboard. It gave way with a soft groan. I bent down, curious, and found a hollow space beneath. There, tucked carefully beneath the boards, was a leather-bound diary. Worn, faded, with strange gold markings along the spine I didn't recognize. I opened it. It was blank, except for one line dead center on a random page. "He sees you when you open this," I frowned. A little annoyed, I closed the book. I guess I should have put it back. I should have walked away. But I didn't. I kept it with me, and that was my first mistake. Back in my room, I tried to sleep, but the diary kept calling to me. Not literally, just I couldn't stop thinking about it. At 3:30 a.m., I opened it again. This time, it wasn't blank anymore. There were entries. Dozens of them, scrawled in shaky handwriting. Each dated, each describing the same thing. July 5th, she stood in the mirror again last night. She smiled with my mouth. July 6th, I smashed the glass, but it didn't help. She watches from behind the cracks now. July 7th, she copies everything I do. But she's always 1 second late. Then I turned the page. It was dated today, July 8th. She found the diary. She doesn't know yet. I stared at that line for a long time. She doesn't know what? That's when the knock came. 3 slow knocks. Not from the front door, from the wall, right behind me. I froze, turned, nothing there. Just drywall and silence. I ran back to the guest room, gripped the diary like it was a weapon, and sat by the bed with my flashlight. I had no idea what I was even afraid of. It all felt insane. Maybe I was dreaming. Knock, knock, knock. From inside the wall again, but this time, closer. I pressed my ear to the wall. Nothing. But in the silence, I could hear something else, breathing. Steady, slow, and not mine. I backed away. Then I noticed the mirror, the tall one in the corner. At first, it just showed my reflection holding the flashlight, trembling. But then it smiled. Its head tilted slowly, deliberately, not mirroring me but mocking me. I stepped forward, but my reflection stayed still. Then, all at once, it lunged, slamming its palm against the inside of the mirror. I screamed and fell back. My flashlight hit the floor. The room flickered in and out of darkness. When I scrambled to grab it, the diary had fallen open beside me. It was writing itself, ink forming one word at a time. She tried to run, but it's too late. I slammed the book shut. I was done, or so I thought. The next morning, I tried to explain it away. Maybe I was dreaming, sleep deprived. The diary was just an old prank book, that's all. But then I saw the mirror again during the day, bright sunlight pouring in, and my reflection still just a second behind. When I blinked, it blinked after me, just like the diary said. And the worst part, when I turned to leave the room, I saw it still watching me from inside the glass. Like it was waiting for something, or worse, someone. That night, I decided to burn the diary. I took it out to the backyard fire pit and lit a match. But the flame wouldn't catch. The pages wouldn't burn. They just curled like they were alive, but never turned to ash. I watched the diary just sitting there in the fire for a while. Then I felt an eerie presence as though someone or something was hovering around. My stomach twisted, I was sweating. My skin felt hot to the touch, even though the outside air was a bit chilly. I took a breath, steam filled the air. Was I burning? Was I on fire? I found a stick nearby and quickly fished the diary out of the flames. It was pristine, no ash anywhere. Suddenly, I started to cool down again. I shuddered as I stared at the flames. Was I really about to be cooked alive? What is really happening here? Frantic, I stumbled back into the house and the diary slipped out of my hand and fell to the floor. I watched in horror as the pages frantically flipped open as though it was angry. There were new entries. They were not warnings anymore. They were descriptions of me, where I was standing, what I was wearing, what I was thinking, and sometimes they're ahead of me. They say what I will do. Like, she checked the mirror tonight. She see herself smile again, and this time it'll stay smiling. She pick up the book. She read this line. She won't sleep after. I started to panic.
I'm getting out of here!
I packed a bag, took Aunt Claire's keys, and grabbed the diary. I got in the car, but the engine wouldn't turn over. When I looked in the rearview mirror, I saw her, the other me, sitting in the back seat, smiling. I screamed and turned, but no one was there. When I looked back in the mirror, she was closer. It wouldn't let me leave. I ran back to the house, contemplating my next move. I ran to the guest room and locked the diary in a drawer and bound it with chains and layers of tape. Like I was trying to muffle a scream I couldn't bear to hear. But that night, as the house fell silent, I swear I heard it whispering. Not loud, not even clear. Just a low, wet rasp, like ink soaking into old paper calling my name. It started in my dreams, the sound of pages turning, the scratch of a pen moving on its own. My name scrawled again and again in handwriting that looked too much like mine. By morning, I found myself kneeling at the drawer, key already in hand. I didn't want to open it. I didn't mean to. But my hands moved anyway. The chains uncoiled like they were alive, tape falling away in dry peels. The drawer slid open, and the diary was there, warm to the touch. Like it had been waiting, breathing, I opened it. And the ink bled across the pages, writhing like veins, forming words I didn't recognize until I did. Until I realized they weren't just words. They were my fate, my memories, what I thought, and how I felt. And the reflection, it's not in the mirror anymore. I can no longer see myself when I look into the mirror either. All I see is the empty room behind me. I was in despair. I tried to call Aunt Clara. I dial. She answers. I scream and cry on the line, but she cannot hear me.
Hello? Aunt Clara, can you hear me?
Her voice on the other end is distorted, submerged beneath static like she's underwater or miles away through something thicker than air. She says my name once, maybe twice, her voice curling with concern, but every word is warbled, breaking apart before it reaches me. I grip the phone tighter, desperate.
Aunt Clara! I need help! Please! Something's wrong!
But it's no use. It's like I'm in a vortex of some kind. It's like I'm here, but not. Like I exist, but not. I feel hopeless. I should have never found that diary. I should have never read it. Now I feel like I'm stuck in these pages. Like I'm fading away. Now I'm just a shadow of myself waiting for the diary to write my life. If you liked this story and you want to know what happened next, like and subscribe for chapter 2.